So being here, one of the things that helps is I have some amazing staff. And so several of them stayed back who would otherwise be here at camp helping me, stayed and helped Yolanda, helped her with the appointments and helped her with, all of the stuff that she would physically want to do around the house.
We had to hand pretty much everything over to our staff, and they were great at doing what, Ron should have been doing and what I should have been doing at that time because of being right in the middle of Camp Nahshii.
The job is pretty physical, loading airplanes and loading trucks and purchasing product, hauling product, and getting it to the airplane at 5 in the morning. She's on that end doing the logistics, so it's pretty physical. So for her to get help to do that, that's a really great thing.
We decided that Keely was going to have to stay back with me. We had to give Keely my job, basically, handling the schedules, having to contact the teams, having to arrange the flights. Maria assisted me as normal, whatever we needed. She was also going out to businesses that time and getting donations.
Oh my goodness, so this one time I was sitting at this cafe getting the different TGM packets together that we send out to the different businesses. I am listening, and there's like this group of like a cheerleading committee that's meeting together at this table that's a little far away. And I have a little problem with eavesdropping, just a little. Mostly if I hear people talking in hushed tones or whatever. I mean, who doesn't want to hear what they're saying if they're talking in a hushed tone? Like, everybody wants to like lean in and listen, right? Anyways, well, maybe it's just me. And so I am listening to them talk, and they start to talk about donations. That's what really piqued my interest. So I'm just putting my little papers in and putting my little business card in there. And then this one lady especially pipes up, and she's like, oh my goodness, she's like, nobody ever goes to, and she's like, they always give. They're so generous. Every time I've asked them, they've given to our cheerleading committee or whatever. And then one lady is like, I'll call them, just give me their number. So she's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like getting my phone out, and I write down the number that she tells to that lady. I want to get there before this cheerleading woman gets there and asks for donations. Is that wrong? That's probably wrong. So anyways, I go to this place, and it's really hard to find because it's not like labeled. Siri's like, you have arrived. And I'm like, where? I end up just turning into this obscure parking lot, and it's like this huge lot area. And I walk up into this little, like, it looks like a tiny house, and go inside, and there's the secretary. She's super nice, and I end up meeting the owner. End up talking to him about Camp Nahshii, just explaining what it is, and he is very interested and just very encouraged by what we're doing out there, as are a lot of the business owners that I meet. Like, they're very encouraged that somebody's actually going out and doing work out there. We're actually addressing those life issues that these young people are dealing with, like depression, or just feeling like they don't have a purpose in this life. And we're speaking that life and that purpose over them, saying you do have a purpose, you do have a reason to live. And anyways, so back to that story. He's like, yeah, I think we can come up with something. He ends up being our biggest supporter that year. He gave $1,500 on the spot, like a check for $1,500, and that was by eavesdropping on a cheerleading committee meeting. So I thought that was pretty God and pretty awesome.
We received a call from Jim and Lori Baker, who are the founders of the media school that Giovanna goes to. And they called us and were checking up on me to see how I was doing. And they told us if we wanted Giovanna to go home, to come back home to take care of me, that they would fly her home. So about a week after the surgery, Giovanna was here at our house. It was 2 days before Ron had to leave to camp on the boats. Pretty much everything that we were doing for camp was happening, but Ron and I were not in it at all. And that was a blessing, that we could just leave all that to our staff and not have to worry about it.
Well, having the staff helping Yolanda is a blessing to Yolanda, and not so much a blessing to me, because we have staff that have got niches, and they have jobs that I don't have to tell them. They know what to do out here, but when they're missing, I don't even know necessarily exactly the process of their job. working a lot harder and running harder. And this has been a really, really difficult year, but it's worth it knowing that Yolanda's getting some help at home. To me, it's worth it. The other answer is I go home. You know, as passionate as I am about this particular camp and this project and seeing it expand and making a difference in the lives of these kids of this Yukon Flats region, I got to be honest, it was really hard to get motivated even after I arrived here. You're running on adrenaline to get here in the first place. You're talking hours and hours of boating, like a full day of boating, and we were at about 2.5 to 3 days without sleep when we got here. So you're running on adrenaline, but normally you get into that mode, and it was hard to get into that flow because the whole time I still feel like I had abandoned her. I need to go home. Even though she wanted me to go, and you get that stamp of approval, there's still that thing that's inside of you as a man going, I need to go take care of her, you know? So yeah, that's really tough. And our communication out here has been really limited. I can't just pick up a cell phone and call her. I can't pick up a landline and call her. At best, we might, through the satellite, be able to send a text message, and it may be delayed, or use a satellite phone, and you might talk for a while before it drops off. But so that's kind of difficult. And she's going through appointments, and yesterday had another doctor appointment, and you know, she's going through these things, and I know she would want me there, and I'm not there. I know she would want me there to hear what's going on and talk to the doctors, but that's been difficult. That's been really difficult, but I'm needed here. So what do you do?
Ron did call me that first night by satellite phone. They got to camp 2 days, I think, after they left for the river. They finally got to camp. The connection out there is hit or miss because of the weather and because you're in the middle of nowhere. And we do have a satellite dish, but some days it works, some days it doesn't.
How's Yolanda? I don't have good communication. You know, you call once in a while on the sat phone, and just about the time that I've said something that's sweet and encouraging, I realize that the satellite dropped, and she probably didn't hear what I just said. So you got to call again. And
he would call me by satellite phone maybe once a day to check up on me and tell me, I'm so sorry I had to leave you, but it's going to be okay. And I love you, babe. I miss you. Everything's going really good here. Praise God. I hope you're doing good and getting rest. You need rest. Go to bed early. Hope everything's going good. I sure miss you, baby. Love you.
Hi, babe. Hope you get this. I did get your video. It came in really good. We just aren't getting the connection this year for FaceTime. We're going to have that stuff that uses more connection, more speed, and more bandwidth. We'll talk about that later. Go ahead and email the questions or text the questions, and I'll see if I can answer them. Everything's up in the air again because the bar just broke down and we don't know what's happening. Hopefully I'll hear today what's happening with that, and it'll all work out. I love you. I miss you. I've been concerned about you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, I'll try to send this. Bye-bye, baby.
We got a small plane. It's a 170 right up ahead of us, about 1.5 miles. Looked like it's trying to find a sandbar for an approach. We're going to try to find where he's landing. I see him approaching now. He's got about 1,000 pounds of gear for a work team coming in a couple days. We got to pick this gear up before the wolves get to it, or somebody else. These guys landed on the other side of this sandbar. It looks like a pond over there. There's no way we're going to hop that sandbar in this unit. So we got to get around it. We could get over it. It would hurt. I need deep enough water to get on step. Find me a hole. Having some serious beard issues right now. I can't see past it, you big lug. There you go. aliens. Let's see what they want. You've been out here too long, sir. We're not aliens.
We had a wolfing camp 2 days ago, so I'm not walking away too far without my gun.
We can taxi all the way over down this way here, and then we only got about 400 pounds worth of gear.
So you can taxi it right over to here?
I can taxi it right down this way. I'm going to bring one more load out, probably on Tuesday when they meet in the morning.
And then we'll come out here and pick it up.
And then you can come out here and pick it up.
Okay, what time are they expecting to be upriver?
They are leaving Fairbanks at 9 o'clock. Plan on being probably at the bridge at noon.
And then there's 6 hours if everything goes perfect.
If it's 6 hours, so they'll be here about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I'd give them 7 if they're carrying kids.
Yeah.
You're going to have stops.
Yeah.
That's if everything runs right. And they're running a jet inboard.
My next appointment is next week, and I will see the oncologist. And on that day, they will give me results of a couple tests. One test is to see if I have a cancer gene in me. My oncologist, she said if the gene is positive in me, that they will do preventive surgery and suggest for me to have a hysterectomy. And then they watch you real close. They'll just continually do more mammograms, or just check up on me closely. So it will be interesting because those oncologists are very adamant, and they want chemo and they want radiation, and I'm saying no. So the first time I saw the oncologist, I had my husband there, and he was able to interject and stand up for me.
Listening to the doctor say, well, the average woman, according to our data, I heard a lot about data. Women at this stage and with this finding, and this is where they're at, we recommend, they have this chance of getting cancer, and we recommend chemo or all of these different things. This is what we recommended. So I am asking the doctor, after she talked for a while and threw out a bunch of data, I said, okay, so let's talk about my wife, because all your data is from women who are average, meaning they have anywhere from 4 to 8, an average of like 6 lymph nodes on one side, and that was removed, and the cancer found is typically 40 to 60% in those lymph nodes. And Yolanda had 36 lymph nodes, and only 2 were cancerous. So it blows away all their data. And so I said, so do you have data in Yolanda's case? And she says, no, I don't. So she is outside of all of your data. She goes, yes, she is. I said, so really, your data has nothing to do with our situation. It doesn't help us. She goes, correct. I go, okay. Then no chemo.
I'm not going to have him here this time. So I just have to be strong and hold my ground. And again, I have peace. I know I'm not being stupid. I know I'm not being stubborn. I know I'm not fearful. I just know that that's not the road I'm supposed to go. And I'm really believing, and I just have this knowing that I am set free of cancer, that I'm healed. I already know it. We're also waiting on results of another test where they are doing a thorough biopsy on the lymph node that had cancer. They're doing a thorough biopsy to see what kind of cancer exactly I had, how fast it was moving, if it's throughout my body. They're able to determine all kinds of specifics through this one biopsy, through this one test. So I'll be finding that out. It wasn't what I expected.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Cool. I have my test results. So it wasn't what I expected, because we were praying for a clean report, but it wasn't bad. So the test that they took was called an oncotype test. So they thoroughly examined that lymph node that they took out, that big lymph node. And And so they said the properties that they found shows that I still have a 30% or 40% chance of getting cancer again. If I were to take that receptor, that estrogen blocker, I would only be at 30%. If I were to take chemo and radiation, it could reduce my chances at 16%. It could.
Yeah.
And but I want to wait.
Sure,
I just want to take it day by day. I feel so impressed by all the help and the graciousness of the nurses and the workers. We met my nurse navigator.
Yeah.
And remember, she's the one that calls me up and tells me about all the services that they have, and checks on me every week, and if I need her to make appointments, she'll make appointments. Being in this world of cancer, it's a whole new world. It's a different world, but it's an awesome world. And I only say that because there are so many people that are volunteering their time, that are being available to help cancer patients. They have all these all these organizations that will help you, even financially, that will help you if you can't drive. There's volunteers that will drive you to your doctor's appointments. But I have people leaving me messages of how they can help me, and one person's over the insurance, and they want to see what my needs are, and they'll direct me to the right place, or they'll help me with whatever I'm dealing. They want to tell me all the benefits that are available for me with my insurance. And my nurse navigator, she's just been so kind and so gracious, and so she's awesome. She's awesome. She gave me all kinds of books and hotel, but it's just a day-by-day thing. I'm still believing in God for a clean report and complete healing. And I know it's going to be okay. But it's just, even every time I hear, my heart goes more out to cancer patients, because now I know what they're experiencing. And it just makes me want to do so much more.
We love you, Yolanda. We see the hope on your face.
Yes.
Ready? Go back to town?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go eat.
Yay! Going good. Where's the rest of the team?
And we are Pastors Ross and Amanda Moore.
We're from Los Gatos, California. That's where our church is. It is connected to San Jose, California, Bay Area. And we had to travel for about 17 hours total flight time, land time, to be able to get to Fairbanks. We're going to be getting on a plane here to Fort Yukon here in the next few minutes. We're going to be flying out, and we're going to be jumping on a boat to ride along the Yukon River for about 2 hours. This will be my second time back to the camp. I came last year as part of a lead trip into preparing for this trip for our students. For most students, this is their first time on a missions trip, let alone to be on a plane and to be on a boat ride for 2 hours. But they're definitely ready for the adventure, to be able to get out and do what God is calling them to do, to be able to be here.
What we really want is just for them to kind of get out of self and look to serving others, and just really catch the vision that God has given the TGM ministries and all of us to have passion for others and to want to serve in any way possible, in any means. And so we're just really excited just to be able to have this experience.
When I look in the mirror now and I see the reality of what this situation has done to me and how it has changed my life and my body, I look at myself, and instead of thinking, again, controlling your thoughts, instead of thinking, oh, I'm a freak, or even the thoughts of what did I do to get this? You even have those thoughts. You know, this is me. What did I eat? What did I do? Did I have sin in my heart? Did I have unforgiveness? What happened? You know, all those things go through your mind. And God keeps saying, you can't think that. It just happens. You think, why does somebody who who commits crimes or drinks and smokes and lives life horribly, and then somebody that lives to give life, to help other people live and be set free, why would this happen, to to someone that's wanting to help lives, and you just have all these thoughts. But I've learned to say, thank you, God, that I'm alive. I've learned to say, I'm so thankful that my family is not grieving right now. I'm so thankful that I'm still here, and it has brought us closer together in more ways than the hardships of the situation. Going through situations like this, it's really, I guess, your choice of how to handle it. Hearing God's voice from the very beginning and listening to his voice and taking his peace instead of taking the fear that comes with cancer. It's changed us for the better. But you can take control of those thoughts and not let it ruin you, and use the situation to make you better. God has worked the situation for our good.
In all of that, though, miracles happen. We saw things happen where there's no provision, and now there's provision. We don't have things worked out, and then suddenly they get worked out. And you really have to keep a positive perspective, and you have to be looking into the future, and you have to be like trusting that things are going to go better in the midst of a thing that looks pretty ugly.
The fact that the barge had to be delayed, it worked out for our better, because when the barge was originally scheduled to meet us, we didn't have the amount of supplies then. But the delayed time that the barge met us, we had over 20,000 pounds of supplies. More income came in to buy many of these supplies. More donations came in of supplies that we needed. Just donated cement, lumber, just everything. Even the fact that our daughter was to be able to come see us. God just did so much. So much has worked together for good. I just can't reiterate it enough. But how much peace and how much strength we felt from God.
I think it'd be good.
Why couldn't the weather be like this when I was going to Fort Yukon?
Dude, don't even talk about it. Not only did you make it down here in like record time, the weather was horrible, rain the whole way, and you ditched us.
Yeah, so if you were to ask Pastor Jeremiah the version of this story, it's going to be exaggerated, because I think I'm innocent. I really do. I think I'm innocent. We were leaving Fort Yukon, and we were adjusting our boat loads. We both had pretty heavy loads. And they stopped to adjust a box or whatnot, and I waved at them, and Jeremy gave me the thumbs up. Well, apparently he and I are from different cultures, because the thumbs up meant everything's good to go. But he was giving me the hitchhiking thumb. Apparently they couldn't get on step, and their boat wouldn't, run in full speed. And so I waved at him and kept going.
Thumbs up.
I thought he meant everything's okay.
No, this is not okay. This is okay. This is hitchhiking.
That's what he did.
No, he went like this. Hitchhiking.
He's a
I need a ride.
He's a man with dreads.
He was trying to get out of the boat, saying, I want to ride with you, because this guy's not getting on step.
So I should have taken
And you're like,
him.
okay, see it. And not only did you say, see it, you boated past. I'm like, you could take some fuel jugs. And then your wake almost capsized us. We're like riding sideways on your wake, and the water spills over on Jeremy's side. You're like, whoa.
Apparently, I left them 60 miles upriver, stranded, and they didn't know where they were going, and they were in a boat just putting along. And so when they got back, I already cleaned up, had a nap, ate lunch, and they weren't happy.
I
we're
waited
about
for you. I'm like, what's taking those
We're
guys
about
so
halfway
long?
down, drenched in water, from just totally soaked, cold. And he's like, I wonder where Pastor Ron is. We're looking for you up and down the river. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. At some point, he'll be just sitting here waiting to check on us and see how we're doing or whatever. We'll see him any minute around every bend.
Yeah.
He'll be here any minute. And we get all the way to camp, and there you are. You're in your tent, getting warm. We see the fire
Drying
going.
off my
we see your,
clothes.
we see your fire going in your stack. Nice warm tent with the fire going in your fireplace in there. And we're like, yeah, that's it.
He lives out here.
And I said, I remember saying, I said, no, Pastor Ron's like Uriah the Hittite. He'll be like, he'll get to camp and he'll be like, Pastor Ron, why don't you just dry off and get, comfortable? And he'll be like, no, my men are out there. I can't be comfortable and go to my tent and relax when my men are out there.
Your wife said, where's Jeremiah? I go, I don't know. He left before me. Where is he?
Pastor Jeremiah gets a little excitable, if you haven't noticed.
Right after we settled from the wake, Jeremy goes, by the way, I had a dream that I was swimming to shore and we had capsized and stuff. And I'm like, okay, now you tell me that.
He gets just a little wired, and frankly, why we make him coffee, I have no idea. He really doesn't need it.
I said, he's a couple of minutes behind him. I lost him a few miles ago.
What was it? How long did we show up later? An hour?
Something like that.
I actually have very little memory of that because to me it wasn't a big deal, like get over it. And he has a lot of memory of it because it was a big deal to him. You left me stranded. That's him. You left me out there. I can't believe it. We could have died. Well, whatever. Just get over it.
So camp is running. Camp is going on. I'm getting busy with work teams right now. I'm feeling healthier and I'm feeling stronger, but I'm still making myself rest. Probably I'm still involving myself a little bit more than my husband wanted me to, because I'll text him a question and he'll say, you're supposed to be resting. What are you doing texting me about this? And life is going on. Things are going great at camp. God's always protecting us to and from our destinations on the boats, because it can get very dangerous there with the weather being on the Yukon River. And as of now, I am still planning on going out to camp. I plan on going to the middle school camp, God willing, and I always say God willing. If I'm not able to, then I may have a problem with that. But as far as now, I still plan on going.